we're here with Combate Americas Weight, Kyra Batara. Thanks for coming on the show. I know you were supposed to compete at Combate Ocho, but you had to pull out due to injury. How's your health right now? And also, for the fans who live under a rock, kind of like announce your next fight coming up.
Yeah, I was supposed to fight just a week ago on Combate Ocho. It was a really sick lineup. We actually had a lot of fights that ended up falling through. I was the co-main event. Eric Sanchez was the main event. And then whoever got bumped up to co-main event ended up getting injured. Eric got injured. I got injured. So it was kind of a mess, but everything worked out really good. The show was amazing. All the fights were great fights.
Yeah,
and
right.
I felt good. I felt good at the fights. I rolled for the first time that weekend. It was about 2 weeks before that I was just doing nothing. I just kind of relaxed and worked on. I didn't do anything. Campbell and Mike called me, and they're like, hey, you need to rest your leg. I know you don't know how to rest, but you need to rest it. And so I did nothing but just hang out with my family and watch a lot of fight tapes and went over all my previous fights in that time. And I felt like it's what I really needed to. And I was bummed that the fight fell through, but a good thing came from it. I'm now fighting for Rizin, which will be September 25th. And Mike actually got me that fight. He locked that in for me. He wanted me to be the representative for Combate Americas. So I'm glad that I get to be the one to go out there and represent.
Awesome.
Nice. Talk about like how long that process took from getting the in talks with Rizin and how much you were involved and how much like maybe Mike was involved in terms of getting you that fight.
I wasn't involved at all with it.
Yeah.
I'm always kind of just in the backseat, like waiting for the fight to be. It took about 8 months to get that secured.
Wow.
It was a long time. They didn't tell me too much about it. I've only been signed with Combate for I'll be a year September coming up. I'll be a year with them, but I was only under contract with them since my last fight in April.
Yeah.
And so I love Combate. They're always doing great things for me. They've been wanting to have someone go and represent Combate for them, and they just really like my fight style. I've taken to them really well. I'm on a 3-fight win streak, undefeated under their banner, and so they thought that I'd be a really good fighter for them to take out there.
Yeah.
Now, is this a one and done fight for you, or is Combate going to allow you to have more fights outside of the promotion?
Yes, like I said, I was supposed to fight on this last card. Things fell through, but they do plan on it's still the road to the championship. They say that 3-fight win streak gets you a title fight. So I was promised a title fight. My next fight for Combate. No dates yet, but next fight will be a title for them.
And like you were saying, do you plan on fighting outside the organization maybe sometime in the future? Is that like an open contract in your contract that you can fight if they like obviously if they allow it and you talk with Combate and stuff?
No, I'm exclusive with them. I'm exclusive Combate. The only reason I am fighting for Rizin is because they sent me there. Mike's actually going to be going there with me, either Mike or Campbell.
Yeah.
We're still trying to get some other Combate guys to go out there with me. There's honestly no one else that I would want to fight for. I could get the call from the UFC tomorrow, and I'd be like, I'm happy with Combate.
Yeah,
for sure. Well, I think Josh and I and you, we spoke, off record at Combate Ocho, at the weigh-ins, and you're pretty excited about possibly meeting your idol, Vanderlei Silva, or even having the opportunity to fight in Japan. How cool is it seeing your face and in Japan in that big billboard?
It was surreal seeing that picture. I saw it on Twitter just a few days ago, and I hadn't even signed a contract or anything. And I was like, whoa, I'm already on billboards. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So everything just felt. I was like, oh, this is so surreal. I can't believe I'm going to Japan. I've never traveled that far. It's one of, like you said, Vanderlei Silva might be there, and so Fedor's fighting on that card. This is a huge card for me. This is all the guys that I looked up to, when I first started training. They still look up to.
Yeah.
So to be able to fight alongside with them, to be in the same warm-up room as them, to be at weigh-ins with them, it's incredible.
It's pretty amazing, yeah.
And talk about your opponent too, Kanato. She's 3-0. She's a junior Olympic champion. You obviously know what her strengths are. What was your first impressions of her as an opponent?
I know she's a 3-time junior Olympic wrestler, and so I've seen just one of her fights. There wasn't too much to really study on her. I did some research on her. I saw a play-by-play. I actually went to San Diego this past week, and I trained with Boogeyman Richie Martinez,
Yeah.
who she came and trained with for her last fight. And so I got some insight with that, especially with them being 10th Planet. Like, they're like, telling me everything.
Yeah.
So it was cool to like be able to hear what they had to say about her. And I'm actually going to be working with Joe Daddy Stevenson. His wife fought her.
Okay.
And so I'm also going to get some really good insight with them. Madi's going to give me some good rounds and tell me what she thinks about that fight, about my style, what I should do for that game plan going into it. I don't like to simulate my training camps around certain fighters just because things do happen. Like, look, I pulled out of my fight. Eric Sanchez pulled out of his fight. You see, like, fights switching all the time. I was trying to fight Rizin's 105er, but she didn't take it. And so I got their 125er, who's dropping to 115 for me.
Yeah.
I mean, these things happen, and I want to grow as a fighter myself. I don't want to be prepared just for one person. So I know she is a really good wrestler, but this training camp is going to be more about, like, my strengths. I'm going to go in there, the tougher fighter, be grimier, be faster, and outwork her and make her fight me.
Yeah. Awesome. Now, for the fans who don't know your history, like, you used to be a cheerleader before, and, like, you also did competitive dancing. How'd you get into the sport of mixed martial arts? Because it's kind of crazy being a cheerleader, then dancer, then now a fighter.
Yeah, it's funny. I was in 8th grade, and I was in competitive cheer for about 2 years. We traveled to Vegas. We did national tournaments. It was really high-level cheerleading, and my coach actually walked out on the team. She was just kind of tired of how the girls treated her, and so out of respect for her, me and my best friend walked out with her. Yeah. After that, my dad was like, look, you need to do something. Like, you can't just quit cheer and do nothing. Like, you need to be in a sport. Like, I've been training at Team Quest. I think that you would like it. I was always a daddy's girl, so I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to wrestle with boys. Like, this is gross. I'm a cheerleader. Yeah. But he asked me to. I'd always watched the fights. I always watched the Pride fights with him. So I was a fan of the sport. I was familiar with the sport. I just never thought of actually being on the mats doing it myself. Yeah. So I started training, and he was my partner for a lot of those practices. So it was really cool to be with my dad, hanging out with him, having that father-daughter time and that bond again, being able to hang out and talk about jiu-jitsu was like the best.
Right. Yeah.
So after that, I was training a few months. I got my first tournament, beat up some high school boys, and that was it for me. I was like, I love this. I want to just beat people up.
That's awesome.
Now, do you have any other brothers, or was like your dad kind of like, taking you under, like, I'm going to show you my fighting interest and get you into that? And
it was me and my brother. I have a little brother and a little sister. Okay. My sister's like 5'3" and all of 80 pounds, so she was like not a fighter. Okay. But I was always kind of like a tomboy growing up. I was the first, so I think he kind of like was like, I want a son, but I love my daughter, so but we're still gonna go catch frogs.
That's awesome.
But I have a little brother too, so we both went in there. He was just a lot younger. He's 8 years younger than me, so he was in preschool at the time. So he did the kids class, but I got to do it with my dad. So it was cool. Like, we got to watch him, and then I was training with my dad as a training partner.
Oh, awesome. I really enjoy your dancing videos on Instagram. I die in laughter, man. It's freaking awesome. Do you still like dance? One night, like, you supposed to have that thing with the Queens for the Run, right, or something like that. That Queens for the Run. Yeah.
Oh, Queens on the Run.
Yeah. On the Run.
Yeah. So actually, I get to say that I'm a professional dancer now too.
Yeah.
I just got this opportunity. I was dancing and cheerleading forever. Yeah. I come from a hip-hop background. I was a cheerleader on a competitive team. And so just recently, after my last fight camp, I started just like, I was always the person in the gym, like, looking in the classroom and being like, that's so dumb. Like, Zumba's dumb. Like, why would I ever do that?
Yeah.
And then I came back, and my mom's like, hey, I've been doing these Zumba classes. You should try it. And I was like, I miss dancing. Like, I really miss dancing. And it's free. It's at 24-hour. Like, I'll do it. Yeah. And I did it, and I fell in love with everyone there. It was really nice just being able to, like, get away from the gym, get away from getting punched in the face for a little bit, and going back to my roots, being able to dance. And I think dancing helps a lot with fighting, with hand-eye coordination, with footwork, just staying loose, staying on beat. And so, and it gave me a really good balance, just being happy and dancing, and then getting my aggression out when I spar. Yeah. And so it was a good balance that I needed in my life. And after that, I started doing a lot more fundraisers. We did a Praying for Orlando event. And then after that, we did like another, it's called the Lucky Duck Festival. Okay. And it's for a children's hospital, raising money for that. That'll be in September as well. Okay. And then after that, I got approached by a lady that is Oprah Winfrey impersonation, and Tina Turner and Mary J. Blige. Oh wow! And so she's like, "Hey, I'm gonna come up. Like I do all these impersonations, and I'm gonna have a show, Queens on the Run. I would love to have you come in." So me and my sister went to her tryouts, and she's like, "Yeah, you guys are gonna be my dancers." Nice. So nice. Yeah, so I'm gonna miss the September one. The first show is September 23rd, and I'll be in Japan. Yeah. But the next one is a huge red carpet event at Silverton Casino in Vegas, and I'll be doing that in October.
Oh, cool. So when are you heading out to Japan? Because there's a big time difference. So how are you going to acclimate yourself to that? And when are you heading out there?
I was actually talking to Joe Stevenson about it a little bit, because he used to go out there all the time for Pride. Yeah. And he was telling me that I either want to get there a week or longer out there, or the day right before weigh-ins. And he said if you get, because I was thinking like 3 or 4 days, and he was like, that's the worst thing you can do. It's going to affect you a lot. And so that's something that I'm going to talk to Mike and Campbell about, and be like, hey, like, I don't want them to have the advantage, me going in there and having jet the time mess with me. Yeah. And luckily this one's at 115, so it's not much of a weight cut for me. I'm used to fighting at 105. Yeah. But still, like, I want to be there and be fresh and feel good. So I'm thinking probably just the day before weigh-ins. Hopefully I get to stay there after. And
day before weigh-ins? Wow.
How does that work in terms of jet lag and time difference and getting used to that?
That's all something that I want to talk to Joe Stevenson about a little bit more, talk to Mike about a little bit more. I've heard so many different things. A lot of people are like, oh, you want to go there 2 weeks early, you want to go there a week early. And so I want to just kind of sit down with more people and be like, okay, what do you think? Like, I'm 21 years old, I'm going to adjust quick, like, I'm not cutting weight, so whatever is more convenient or whatever you think is going to be healthier for my camp. Whatever they need me for, I'll be ready regardless.
Yeah.
Now, Combate America it's an all Hispanic fighting league, and obviously you're Mexican, right?
Yes, I'm half Mexican, half Latino.
Okay. So how is it, fighting for Combate and being that role model for Hispanic kids?
I love Combate. I love that they're the first Hispanic MMA organization. Like, you hear it all the time, like, Mexicans are just bred as fighters. Like, we just have fighting in our blood. Like, we put on great shows. And so I think it's awesome, just the heritage, and, like, being able to represent that is great. So I'm happy fighting for Combate Americas.
Awesome.
Well, we look forward to seeing you compete at Combate. We're looking forward to seeing you compete at Rizin. That's going to be awesome. Congratulations again on that.
I'm happy for you. It's awesome.
And thank you for being on the show.
And can you just social media? Yeah, around the family, we can find you on social media, and also plug in some of your sponsors as well.
Yeah, social media is the same for Twitter and Instagram. It's just my name, Kyra Batara, Kyra Batara. You can find me on Facebook. I'm going to be posting a lot on where you can watch the fight. I know there's going to be a few different channels that you can watch my Rizin fight. There's going to be more interviews coming up. I'm going to be selling more walkout shirts, so make sure that you watch out for those. Thank you to my sponsors. First of all, thank you to Mike for getting me this fight. Mike and Campbell are great with Combate Americas. I'm really happy to be fighting for them. Thank you, Palmer Electric. They're helping me a lot for this camp. ZQ Wraps are helping me with my diet. Real Water, keeping me hydrated. Valley Spine, Dr. Denny. He's my chiropractor here in Vegas. And Rev Gear, my gear sponsor. And Holy Sheets, sorry. I'm like looking at my mom in the corner.
Hi, Mom. One last thing. Like, your shirts are really awesome. Thank you.
My dad actually drew that. That was
no way.
My very first my dad got his degree in animation fresh out of college back in the day, and then before he worked in the hospital. And so now he drew me he was always drawing with me, and that was another hobby of mine outside of fighting is art. And so we were always drawing, and we liked watching cartoons and doing different, like, Disney characters. And so he designed the Mogwai from a South Park character. And so it's South Park version of a Mogwai, and then it has a Filipino and Mexican flag in the
really
Mogwai.
Awesome. Is there like a website that people can buy that, or is that just exclusive for your walkout shirt?
Right now, we don't have the website up and running quite yet, but I do have PayPal. So if you message me on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, I can get that out to people.
Awesome.
Or you can give it to us.
Yeah, I missed you at the fight.
I'm just joking. Well, best of luck with the training and your fight, Kyra. Thanks again for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, guys. Take care.
Take care.
All right.